So Scott, yeah, I mean, just like our last conversation, this is how the whole podcast will go. Like we'll just
This
kind
is
of
it.
this super easy conversation. As far as introing you, is it okay if I say something along the lines of like, okay, first off, how do you say your last name? Because I have how I want to say it.
Well, you tell me what you think.
Touchton.
Yeah, I tell people
Okay.
it's redneck, not French.
Okay. Yeah.
Touchton.
When you move to New Orleans, it's this like
Everybody goes French.
how do you pronounce that street? And I get to work and like, oh, they're like, hey, what street did you park on? And it's like they wanted me
It's
to try to butcher
Bourbon.
these street names.
Yeah.
I like
Touchton.
Burgundy. They're like, no, that's Burgundy.
Burgundy.
Like, no, I'm pretty sure that's Burgundy.
Oh my God.
That's amazing. Well, hey, Scott Touchton, welcome to the Boombox Boardroom. So everybody, Scott is has a really unique journey. He started out living on his buddy's couch in New Orleans, started slinging drinks at patios, and now he's a fractional CMO. So Scott, thanks for being here with us, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is awesome. Recovering bartender. I always joked when I was working at the bar that if I ever got a non-bar job, I should have like a past the bar party, kind of play on words like a lawyer. But yeah, we never did that.
That's funny. So
Fantastic.
So how did that? I guess like walk us through that that story arc real quick. So like you show up on your buddy's couch in New Orleans, you start working at patios, and then fractional CMO. Like how did that journey kind of roll out?
To look back at it, what's the Steve Jobs quote about looking back and you connect the dots?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with that one? I feel like
I know where you're headed with that.
Yeah. So even before that, I was studying MIS, Management Information Systems at Auburn, and started bartending at Auburn and realized I was better at the bartending than going to class. And Auburn was like, man, you're so good at that. Why don't you take a break from the academic side of things? They called it academic probation. I view it as them telling me to chase my dreams. And so I worked at a bar in Auburn, and one of the guys I worked with in Auburn was from the New Orleans area, and I was like, man, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm going to do next. And he was like, well, hey, I'm moving back home. Come hang out. If you like it, get your own place. If not, crash on the couch for a minute. Yeah. And so I came down and got hired at Pat O'Brien's, which this was pre-Katrina. Really, I think just a good timing kind of thing because I didn't know anybody here. It's not like I had friends work there. Just kind of worked out. That was 2002. Then I ended up 2008, 2009, moving into an operational management position. They don't use terms like GM or anything like that, but I was operations director for over a decade.
Wow.
Which I've, amazing stories and experiences and wonderful opportunities came out of that. You miss your first dance recital or soccer game, and working till 4 a.m, changes a lot of things. So then I had a great opportunity to go to a facility in the New Orleans area called NOLA Motorsports Park, which is like an Indy style track with this massive event space. So like 1,000-acre facility.
Wow.
With just different, kart track and event center. So I went out there as their director of sales and marketing, and we really looked at it as a really big event space near New Orleans that had a racetrack, and we're able to do some really cool things there. And with both of those experiences, just doing so many out of the box marketing things and sales things just kind of makes you look at everything differently.
Yeah.
And kind of has positioned me, I guess, where I am now to apply some of those lessons learned and help different people with their storytelling ability or their marketing or their social media or their personal branding. With lessons learned from all those crazy experiences along the way.
Oh, that's
Well,
great.
well, let's dig into that a little bit because, give us an example of a lesson learned there that, you applied or shared with others that, from your service background and so forth.
Yeah, well, so I was at Pat O'Brien's, like I started all the first social media accounts for Pat O'Brien's.
Wow.
So when
Yeah, that
I
timing would have been
started,
about right. Yeah.
yeah, so I started the Facebook account, I started the Twitter account, I started the Instagram account when it was like, then it was like, well, I mean, still like everybody wears multiple hats, but it's like, well, the marketing team really doesn't know what to do with it, and these people don't know what to do with it. And I'm there all night, so like I'll play around with it,
Yeah.
And then it was kind of the Wild West. And I actually made a LinkedIn post not too long ago that LinkedIn today reminds me of early Twitter. And I shared some posts, like some old screenshots from Pat O's post. And there was one I shared, and it was we found out like Pat O's wasn't in like Frommer's Guide or one of those big travel guides or something like that. And so we tweeted them, and they responded back that like, a local writer had to do something or a local writer had to submit it.
Yeah.
So we took this picture and of like the souvenir book for Patos and like a napkin, and we took like a notepad and wrote on it like local Frommer's Guide's notes, #1 Pat O'Brien's, and like took a picture of all this and like replied like, well, we found this in Lost and Found. And and it was just like, me and probably one of the bartenders bored, like, hey, we should do this.
Yeah.
And now we're like Pat O'Brien's, I say we, but now Pat O'Brien's is, the #1 nightlife spot listed in
Wow.
Frommer's, however many years later. But I think like, that translates like, Jared, I know we met through kind of the Darren McKee school of LinkedIn.
Yeah.
To just try things.
Yeah.
To be creative.
Yeah.
And I think then Twitter and now LinkedIn is you can connect with anybody.
You really can.
There's no gate. Nobody's stopping you and saying no, you can't tweet at Frommer's.
Yeah, or the CEO of like some major brand that you love, or upcoming brand. It's pretty wild. So for the people who don't know NOLA or maybe haven't been, can you just like explain like why Pat O'Brien's is like so significant? Because maybe some people don't even know what that is.
Yeah, Pat O'Brien's is a venue, bar restaurant in New Orleans. It's been around since Prohibition, so nobody knows exactly. They didn't really keep records and brag about when they started, but best guess late 20s.
Wow.
Yeah.
So creeping up on 100 years of operation, but legally since 1933. And it's famous for a lot of things. One is inventing the dueling piano bar. So you got the two pianos facing each other. So that concept has been reborn in a lot of different places, like a Jelly Rolls or Howl at the Moon or something like that. That was invented inside Pat O'Brien's, and it's just a really old, almost 300-year-old building that has 7 different bars or venues inside the property. And it's one of those places people walk in and they're like, "Oh, my grandparents met here," or "This is where my grandparents had their first date." And it's famous for a lot of like signature drinks, but one of them's the Hurricane, which is like in the Hurricane glass, which is a big souvenir thing. But just
a few of those.
Yeah,
that's where I had my first Hurricane was at Patios. So
yeah.
And one thing I love about it is like when I work there and when I travel or whatever, even now, like everybody has a Pat O'Brien story. And it's just the funniest thing, man. Like when I go somewhere, I start talking to people, they're like, oh wait, the place with the fountain on fire? And I'm like, yeah, that's the place. And again, I had the privilege. I think I figured out I spent 17 Mardi Gras working there.
Wow.
So
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people that think they have a Pat O'Brien story, but they can't remember it. That was kind of my experience. So.
One of my favorite things was I just meet like just the tourists like sitting. So I kind of had a spot I'd stand at the end of the bar, and from there I could kind of see a couple different, perspectives. And there'd always be like, a couple tourists coming in there, and usually like if it's the early evening, they'd be a little bit older, and they're probably about to go to dinner. It's kind of like they're probably closer to heading back to the hotel.
Yeah.
And I'd talk to them and where are you from? And just the people that I met, and a lot of people I'm still in touch with, and I met because they were customers or they would travel. Like New Orleans is there headed to the beach. Like people that come to New Orleans every 3 to 6 months, and like you recognize the faces after a while. And but yeah, everybody'd be like, "What's your craziest Pat O'Brien story?" And I was like, man, I hate that question. I'm like, you want a PG story? Do you want like a PG-13 story? Or do you want like where on this scale? Because I could keep going up. Like, and so I'm like, that would kind of help me steer my answer.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure you met just about everybody, every stripe person out there, professional, artist, musician, whatever, that came into that bar.
Yeah,
and
my
celebrities and you name it.
Yeah, we'll be watching some movie or some show or something, and I'm like, oh, I've met them, and my kids.
I'm sure.
I might have a picture. Like, hold on.
Whether you need a new Salesforce partner, need to replace your current Salesforce partner, or just need a second opinion, look to VectorX. We deliver Fortune 500 quality for less cost, less time, and less frustration. Visit VectorX.com today.
You shared a story with us that I think ties in really well to like how Pat O'Brien's and your social media marketing like kind of grew and just how possible things are. But you shared a story with us about a blimp. Before we recorded. So I'd love to hear that again.
I actually, I think after our conversation, I found some pictures. So I don't
know. Did you?
I don't know if y'all pop up things like Joe Rogan.
We can edit it. We
Absolutely.
can edit it in post or
Yeah. So again, this is heyday of Twitter, probably like 2012, 2013. I'm not exactly sure the dates. I could probably check. But it was either the Sugar Bowl or Jazz Fest or one of those, and the DirecTV blimp was circling over New Orleans. And, so I saw, like, I'd check, like, what's trending in New Orleans or different hashtags or whatever. And I noticed that the DirecTV blimp had a Twitter account. And if you tag them in a tweet with a picture of the blimp, they would retweet the picture.
Okay.
And like kind of like a little goal was like, okay, who can I get a big account to retweet us today?
Yeah.
And can we take some silly picture? And I'm like, okay. So I go get a good looking fresh drink, Hurricane, and I go stand outside. We've got the big round sign by the door. And I'm like angling. Okay, I've got the sign, I've got the Hurricane, and the blimp is like right above the horizon in this picture. And I take this picture framed, and I tweet like, hey, great to see the happy Saturday from New Orleans, something like that. Great to see the DirecTV blimp flying over the city.
Yeah.
Within like 20 minutes, DirecTV blimp is following you. DirecTV blimp retweeted your picture. I'm like, cool. So I follow him back. And like, so then I sent him a message like, hey, are y'all in town? Like, who runs this Twitter account? Like, where surely it's not the pilot, like, and they're like, no, we're in whatever city. I'm like, well, hey, like if the pilot's bored later, tell him to come by. I'm here till 4 a.m. I've never talked to somebody. What pilot?
Pilot a blimp.
Yeah. Like I said, that was one of my favorite things about the job is like, you just get to talk to all walks of life of people. Like I've never met somebody that pilots a blimp. Then like probably, I don't know, 6-8 hours later, door guy comes and gets me. Hey, this guy's asking for you. He's like, hey, I'm with the blimp.
That's awesome.
I'm like, come on in, man. And so then like I get a tweet the next day from the guy that runs the social account. He's like, hey, thanks. So-and-so said thanks. And he's like, hey, if we're ever back in town, would you ever want to go up in the blimp? I'm like, well, yeah. Absolutely.
Come on.
But it's one of those things. It's like an open, it's like, yeah, you should come over for dinner sometime. Like, no, that's actually not an invite, like,
Yeah.
And then it was like 6 months later or something. It was a different big event. And the guy that was like, I tweeted with was now in town. And, we had a drink or whatever. And then, 6 months after that, I get a random text or something. And he's like, hey, I got a blimp coming back in town. Do you still want to go up in the blimp?
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to. And so he's like, well, it's the Snoopy MetLife blimp. Because I found out there's this one company that manages and like licenses and leases all the blimps. And it's kind of like a one-stop shop. I'm like, well, yeah. So I went up in the Snoopy MetLife blimp over Jazz Fest.
Wow.
And like look down and see Jazz Fest going on. Because during so Jazz Fest is 2 weekends long, and one of the weekends of Jazz Fest is also the weekend of the PGA event, the Zurich Classic. So you got a lot of overlap. So if you're a blimp company, hey, I could provide coverage to the PGA event, and Jazz Fest is in town. So it's a good weekend to be in New Orleans.
Wow.
Yeah.
Golly. What a unique
that's
experience.
really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure you were like, well, what am I doing here?
Well, the coolest thing I remember,
what dots had to connect for me to get here, huh?
Yeah. So I remember one of the funniest things was I went to lunch that day with some friends that were going to Jazz Fest. And during Jazz Fest, especially like if you work in the food and beverage industry, like everybody's got like, hey, I got tickets for today only. Do you know anybody that wants to go? But the ticket's dated for today.
Yeah.
I'm like, they're like, hey, do you want to go with us? I'm like, no, I got plans later. And they're like, oh, cool. What are you doing? I was like, well, I'll see y'all later. And they're like, what are you doing? I was like, no, I'll send you a picture. And like, so then I just sent them a picture, like looking down at Jazz Fest of the crowd.
Wow.
And they're like, no. And so then they're sending me a picture of them looking up at the blimp. I mean, it's wild.
Nice. That's cool. What a memory, man.
No kidding.
That's awesome.
So something else I thought was really cool about your experience is that you went from like kind of the college dropout or will help you out to actually helping like being a guest speaker to like teach at a college.
Yeah. So what that actually came out the first time I ever did that. I actually recently spoke at University of New Orleans, which I ended up graduating from. So
Nice.
Yay.
Auburn dropout, University of New Orleans graduate. I like to, think I did it to make my mom happy. I don't know if I've actually used it or.
Many of us did.
But yeah, so actually from the Patos Twitter account, I think I replied to somebody or somebody saw something, and it was actually a LSU professor that on Twitter like interacted with the account and just messaged me through the Twitter account. Was like, hey, who runs this account? And so we met, and he's like, hey, I've been following this, or you interacted with me. I can't remember the exact post, but it was something clever, something funny that we did. And he was like, I'd love to, you come speak to my class on like how y'all are using social media. Because again, I mean, it was still kind of the Wild West. It wasn't like, this isn't like, they're not making this a career yet.
No books
like,
on it yet. Yeah.
And so I went and spoke to an LSU class, which I love pointing out that you've got an Auburn dropout teaching an LSU an LSU class. I don't like how's that rank the education levels. But yeah, so I did that a couple times, and then like I said, I just recently spoke to a UNO class about like personal branding, and how college seniors should be preparing their LinkedIn and things they should be taking away and getting ready for the workforce, and how to leverage that. Because I mean, I can only imagine, like, if I had, on one hand, I'm thankful that social media did not exist when I was in college, but from like a networking perspective, like, I was like, the people in your room right now, like, you should be connected with every single other student in this room, because in
Yeah.
5-10 years, if
Yeah.
you're looking for a job, or hey, you're looking to sell into this industry, someone in this room is probably going to be in a position to help you, or you're going to be in a position to help them.
Yeah. Yeah, in a huge way.
Yeah, absolutely. So, talk a little bit about the fractional CMO and what does that mean to, clients of yours, or, just talk about that discipline.
Yeah, so I guess it's the buzzword du jour, like
Heard it a
fractional
bit.
CMO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where probably 2 years ago, the same exact job was just freelance marketing consultant, or
Yeah.
you know, but I what I find interesting, and most of the people I work with, it's a lot of just word of mouth, or people that I've known for a long time, or people that see something that I post and interact with me individually. But it's a lot of companies that are either smaller businesses that don't necessarily have or afford their own marketing team,
Hmm.
or you've got, like, I like to, like, a lot of food and beverage places, or smaller mom and pop places, and you've got like the daughter-in-law runs the socials,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you know it's great for them because they don't have to pay her, but she doesn't technically know everything or best practices or what she's doing.
Right.
So sometimes it's like, hey, can you just work with her and help her, and like some best practices, or some strategy behind what it is she's doing, or can you help them do that? To overall strategy, and a how to incorporate, back to the Darren McKee, how to incorporate like the social selling, or how to just basically look at there's a great quote, and I wish I knew who the quote was from, but it's hard to read the label when you're inside the jar.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's
Hmm.
just like, you can't see the forest for the trees kind of thing,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever. But I like saying it is, you can't read the label from inside the jar.
Yeah.
And a lot of these like smaller businesses just need someone from the outside to
Sure.
say, hey, how do we tell our story better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the questions I usually start people with, and I say this sentence probably 10 times a day, especially when you're telling your story to your customers, or you're working on your personal branding, is what is obvious to you that is not obvious to everyone else.
Yeah.
As far
That
as
is
like,
so
what
key.
is your value prop? Like, what is it that you're really good at, or what is it that everybody needs that you can offer, but they just don't know they need it?
Yep.
And how can you tell that story and let them know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just by thinking of it like that, sometimes you'll get like a light bulb moment with people, and they're like, oh, well, yeah, well, I thought everybody knew. I'm like, no, dude, nobody knows that. Like, nobody
Yeah.
knows you offer that. Nobody knows you can do that.
Well, and a prime
Uh,
example of that, at my last company, their logo just had like the 4 letters that was the name of the company. And they blasted that everywhere, and they were like, of course everybody knows who we are. Like, that's who we are. We oftentimes go by those 4 letters, and it's wonderful. Like, and then one day I looked at our logo and I was like, hey guys, like, it doesn't have our name on it. Like, it doesn't actually
yeah.
have the name of what we do. Like, it could be any number of things. And so we added it. We changed the logo to add the name, because not everyone knows the name of the company. And so it's
See,
such a
they were inside
unique.
the jar, Jared. They
Yeah,
were
no,
inside the jar.
that's exactly right. And they've been in the jar
Yeah.
for 15 years, so it really is something that every company needs to take a step back. And sometimes that does mean bringing in somebody fractional, or just a support, person that can kind of give you a different viewpoint.
Yeah. And a lot of times it is that it's like, hey, can we, let me audit this.
Yeah.
Let me go through your website. Let me audit this. Let me audit your executive LinkedIn's. Let me audit, your social media, and then just come back with like, or, hey, when was the last time you put out a press release? Like I think press releases, a lot of people view as these things that, oh, you got to pay a ton of money, and you gotta do this, and you've got to go through some fancy publicist. No, dude.
No.
Like, we can do that right now.
Yeah.
And oh, well, you've got to pay PR Newswire $1,200. No, you don't. You don't have to do that. And all of these things. The other thing is, all of these things are so constantly evolving that if you're not staying up to date, like you might have been the best at marketing in 2005, but I mean, how much has changed in marketing since 2005?
Yeah.
Or like, I mean, again, back to Darren and LinkedIn. Well, yeah, we're all on LinkedIn, and like, but I'm not looking for a job right now.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's not what it is anymore.
Yeah.
And even now, like I'm working with some different clients on, SEO for AI. Because if you look at like HubSpot's search rankings and Google traffic have just plummeted over the last like 3 to 6 months, because number one, like the Google search results that tell you the answer, so you don't even have to click on it, and people using like ChatGPT or Gemini or something like that as their search engine. Everybody, you've got to look at SEO completely differently now.
Yep.
And honestly, I don't think anybody knows the true answer. Those best practices haven't been formulated, but there's a lot of people that have guesses and ideas. Like, okay,
yeah, there's not a lot of data points out there right now around that,
Yeah.
which way it's headed and what to do with it and so forth, right?
Yeah, but a lot of the people that were like, oh, well, we did this and we've got this website like this ready for this, but it's not ready for this. It's not ready for what's new. And it's just that, was it the continuous improvement model, like with like a Kaizen philosophy? It's just constantly, hey, what's new? What do we need to do to stay on top of our game? How can we continue to get better?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, I mean, you were talking about, kind of these smaller businesses where they don't have the resources or, the investment in people, strategy, and so forth. They need a social media account, so they get one. They start kind of checking the box. We're going to put a post out, but they don't really understand their voice. What's their message, their value proposition, how that's perceived in the marketplace. And so, that kind of whole fractional CMO, the helper, right? The guide, the Sherpa, to be able to go in there and, take an organization that has, doesn't have a lot of capital to work with to go make these investments. You can, get them on the right path probably pretty quickly just by offering, again, kind of the best practices. And then they're in the jar, right? They've got their, day-to-day stuff that they're doing. They're not thinking about all the different technologies that are available out there. And honestly, it's changing at such an accelerated path. Just keeping up with it, takes other people from outside to come in and say, hey, you really need to be paying attention to this. Or if you're not doing this now, you're going to need to here soon or yesterday.
Yeah, there's one client just came to mind that I was working with. And a lot of what I do is, like we've talked about, like LinkedIn ghostwriting for executives. And, there was one guy I worked with and they were doing great in their, it's basically like word of mouth or existing customers.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just doing great. They're like, hey, we kind of want to, take that notch, that step up, but we don't really know how. Like, how do we scale? And, the contact us link on their website was broken. And like they had no idea how long it had been broken.
Yeah, you gotta check that
and they're
stuff
like,
weekly.
oh, well, that website, like we haven't updated in a couple of years. I'm like, cool. Have you ever gotten a lead from your website? And they're like, no, I don't think we have. And when it's just such a little thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, let's fix that, and then let's test it. And it's like, oh, cool. Yeah. We've never gotten an email like that from this form.
Yeah.
but they were, you know, content with their level of business, but that's something that's not their specialty. And again, it's a perfect, you can't read the label from inside the jar.
Yeah.
Like they just never took the time to do that. And I remember, so like they were in a different, smaller area, and you know, so I was running their CEO's LinkedIn, and I was struggling a little bit with like, what does he talk about? And he was really bad at providing content for me, which was frustrating. And so one thing I started doing, and this was kind of like from a Pat O's philosophy, because at Pat O's, like what we figured out is if we can get people into the city, it benefits Pat O'Brien's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If people go out to an event, if there's a concert, you know, if there's a festival, if people go into the city, they usually end up at Pat O'Brien's.
Yeah.
Or someone that made money working at the festival then goes to Pat O'Brien's.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what I figured out was most festivals, or like especially smaller festivals, are really bad at their social media.
Yeah.
And it's like some volunteer doing their social media. So usually like a month out, I would have like, hey, here's the things that are coming up in the area for the month. And then I would actually have graphics made for their festival. Or say like, hey, Pat O's is excited to welcome these events to New Orleans. And then I would tag them. And then all these festivals would just retweet my post because I summarized their event better than they could.
Yeah.
Marketing by proxy. That's
Yeah.
great.
So I'm like,
to pay them a dime to be a sponsor.
Or then I'm like, hey, if you're going to the, you know, like the Creole Tomato Festival this weekend at the French the French Market, here's a link on their website to best places to park, you know, and hope to see you at the bar afterwards. And then the French Quarter Business Association, the French Market, and the festival retweeted my post within the first hour. But it's like Pat O's branding across the top.
Wow.
And so that's one thing. So back to this client, I was like, well, hey, you live in a cool small area and your whole thing is like networking with business owners. Let's do a post from you on your LinkedIn once a month about what's going on in town.
Yeah.
And he was like, why would I do that? Like, he's like, how is that going to, and so like, then we had people messaging him with their event. Hey, can we get our event added to your list?
No way.
Or like, you know, the Chamber of Commerce like shared his post because I'm solving a problem for the Chamber of Commerce because back to the original thing, it's obvious to them the events they have going on. It's obvious to them what they're trying to promote, but it's not obvious to anybody else. Somebody else comes along, summarizes it for them, solves their problem. They're going to share his post. Yeah. And now, hey, dude, you're not even a member of that Chamber of Commerce, and they just shared your LinkedIn post. And he's like, so it's almost like some you know, guerrilla style marketing to a degree, or like
it is.
Yeah. You know, just thinking outside the box, and like, you know, it's not hey, let's get some billboards and hope for the best. You know, I think marketing today is all about tracking and data and analytics and hey, this worked, let's try it again. That didn't work, let's put it on the back burner and maybe we tweak it and try it again. But chasing those data points and figuring out how you can reach the people but in a different way than your competitor, or a different way than somebody else is doing it. Just being creative.
Yeah, I liked what you said earlier. You were, you know, talking about the goal for that day was to get a big account to retweet us. Yeah, and I think that's pretty aspirational right there. I like that. Just set out the goal. You know, it is guerrilla style at that point, because you want to do something that's catchy and that's be memorable, and it's going to be of interest for that big account to like, hey, we're going to take some time, right? Yeah. And you're not going to end up with the blimp all the time. I get that, but that's not a bad goal to have.
Well, I think back then it was easier.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't. You know, then I think it truly was. The joke is like the intern running the account.
Yeah.
You know, now that's just a joke, but it's a committee, you know, it's
And the
Yeah.
legal team has to approve it all.
yeah.
Yeah.
And but then it truly was, I think. So one of the big, I don't know if y'all remember the Chive.
Oh yeah.
So
I don't know if I do, but
so they were I mean, they're still around. They're like an app. They're like a website with, you know, guy centric stuff. Like
yeah.
they're an Austin based group, and they do events, and they've great charities involved. So they sell a ton of t-shirts. They've got like the one t-shirt, it's like Bill Murray's face as like I know you've seen it.
Oh yeah, the stickers are all over people's cars. Yeah.
Yeah, and they've got this viral community around them, and this is when they were, you know, up and coming and big, and
I think they even have a TV channel now, like a
yeah, they
Tribe
do
TV.
the Atmosphere TVs,
Yeah.
like like the TVs in like bars and restaurants, like that they own that company.
Yeah.
But yeah, they like the head guys. There was a group of head guys that all had their own Twitter that were big, and you know, so we would always search like hashtag Bourbon Street, hashtag NOLA, and then like see who's in town, like who's posting, and the people that we interacted with that or came across, and we came across them. They were just in town themselves, having fun and documenting it, and they came in the bar. We ended up getting them in the bar. And like in one of the bars in Paderborn, just pictures all over the wall of like customers from the last 80 years. And so we ended up putting their picture on the wall. And then they did a big thing about them getting on the wall. And then we had their fan base like coming there to like take a picture with their picture on the wall. I mean, when you got pictures of like Eli Manning underage, you know, in the bar, you got pictures of, you know, people from the 40s and 50s drinking. And I mean, you've got like the amount of famous people, like there's a picture of Kenny Chesney and Sean Payton by the jukebox, you know, like, I mean, and then it's like these guys from Austin on the wall and tapping into that community.
Mm-hmm.
But it was through the Twitter account.
Yeah.
One of the other crazy ones, and I actually found a screenshot. You could pop it up like Joe Rogan here. One of the guys from Impractical Jokers tweeted like, "Hey, I'm in New Orleans, or me and so-and-so are in New Orleans. Our show's on Thursday. What's a good place we could watch it?
Oh,
and maybe invite some fans."
Oh, that's easy.
And I just happened to see the tweet. I'm like, just jumped on it.
Yeah.
And so they come by that night. I'm like, hey, this room over here, we could set up, and we've got these TVs. We could have it all on. We could turn on the audio. And they're like, yeah, done. So then, and this is, they were coming out. I think this is their first or second year.
Yeah.
And so they tweeted, hey, we're going to watch this show at Paderborn's Thursday night, whatever.
Wow.
Probably had 50, 60 people show up. But the crazy thing is, had people calling in trying to buy them drinks.
What?
Trying to call in with credit card numbers to like pick up their tab was insane. And then the cool thing was they were like, hey, can you write like, don't worry about doing that. I was like, well, we can't. Like I'm not messing. I'm not writing down people's credit card numbers.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, can you write down their phone numbers so I can call and thank them? And I was like, okay, that's awesome.
That's huge.
So we took a group picture. I got, again, back to press releases aren't that big a deal. I got NOLA.com to write an article about it with our picture, that Impractical Jokers at Paderborn's. Years later, they filmed an episode inside Paderborn's where they're dressed as waiters, and one of them jumps in the fountain.
I think I've seen that episode.
Yeah, that was because I saw their tweet like 4 years before, and was like, "Hey, yeah, let's do a watch party here."
Yeah,
why not?
I'd always heard that like they were nice guys, and they always come across that way. But it sounds like they really like live it, like that's who they are. Like they really are like, genuinely nice guys.
So my interactions were extremely positive.
That's awesome.
I met a lot of celebrities there, and I always hate it when people are like, oh, this celebrity is a jerk, because like I always feel like, and this is completely derail, but like I mean, I have bad days. Like,
Yeah.
I have days where I'm a jerk. Like, I have days where, so like, just to label an entire like, I'm never going to watch one of his movies again because I heard he's a jerk. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's so rough to do. And I think the other thing is, one thing I noticed about celebrities like that coming into places like that is some of them are just better at handling their fan base in public environments than others.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where some of them you can tell are just they're not comfortable in that surroundings, or a lot of them would ask like, "Hey, do y'all have like a space?" I'm like, "Man, we don't have a VIP room.
Yeah.
We don't. That's not." I was like, "I can put you on the corner, or I could do this," but like, and one of the best I ever saw was Jason Segel from How I Met Your Mother.
Oh yeah.
He filmed a movie in New Orleans, and he was in there. He was pretty regular for a while, and he'd have people come up to him, and he'd like have meetings with his agent, or in the bar in the corner, and he'd have people come up to him, and he'd be like, "Hey, look, when I'm sitting down, like we're having a meeting, if you could respect that, that'd be awesome. But when you see me get up, if I go to the bathroom, I go to the bar, I'm fair game." And
That's awesome.
And people are like, "Okay, cool." Well, then he actually would do that.
Yeah.
So the coolest thing would happen is the people at tables around him that he had no idea who these people were would act as blocker for him.
And like say that, like, hey, wait till he's up and go to the
So
bathroom.
they're like, they'd see new people coming in and they're like, "Hey, he's in a meeting. If you could respect that time, but once he gets up, then he'll take a picture or an autograph."
That's incredible.
And I was like, "Man, you built this," like, but he was just really good and really just respectful. And just some people I think struggle with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've got a picture of this too. I had Mark Cuban worked the door one night.
What?
As he should.
And he did a great job. He was a big guy.
That's incredible.
But yeah, he was in and he was waiting to meet with some friends, and he kept moving around. Super nice, taking pictures with people, and I mean, this has been a while ago, and he had some friends he's waiting to meet, so he went and stood by the door, and he told me he was trying to get out of the way.
Yeah.
But the door's kind of narrow. It's an old house, and it kind of bottlenecked. And I just go up to him and I was like, "Hey man, if you don't, get out of the door guy's way, I'm going to put you to work." And he's like, "What do you want me to do?"
Yeah.
and he stood there and checked IDs for a little bit. And then it was the people he was trying to meet up with actually showed up. They're like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Y'all got to move along."
Listen to the billionaire.
Okay, got to keep moving.
So Scott, I want to ask you, because we're kind of getting close to the end of the hour here. I want to ask you a question that we ask all of our guests. We mentioned AI briefly on this episode, and I think we all have dabbled in some way. But what's a unique thing that you're using AI for today that maybe is a little more out of the box, or not, maybe not business related, but just kind of your thing that you're like, I actually love using AI for this?
That's a great question. So I'm going to ask my own self the question, because I use AI a good bit.
Yeah.
Is some of the things I do are probably obvious to me.
Yeah.
But not obvious to other people. Like a lot of I've introduced, say, like ChatGPT to a lot of people, like my mother.
Yeah.
That like, "Oh, that's not for me." I'm like, "Well, hey, like you mentioned you're about to go to the grocery store. Like, let's help it meal prep for you." Yeah. Which I think that's something that a lot of people that don't work in, tech, it's an easy to like, "Hey, that's cool. That actually saved me time."
Yeah.
I actually we were talking about this earlier about like SEO for AI. I actually use ChatGPT to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Like I will have a conversation with ChatGPT and I'm like, "Hey, I'm researching how I can do better SEO for AI searching."
Yeah.
And then it'll spit something back and I'll read that. I'm like, "Okay, when you say this, what do you mean?" Okay, can you give me an example of that? I'm like, "Okay, you said like," and this is a real conversation I had.
Yeah.
And it's like, "Okay, you said write FAQs on the topic. Do you mean on Zendesk or embedded into the website? Or does Zendesk specifically, and they're like, no, actually Zendesk is informative for existing customers, but you should do more FAQ style embedded on the website. I'm like, okay, great. So like I'm going down this rabbit hole with it on a topic. And I think a lot of people just like, okay, I asked this question, AI gave me this. So that's what I'm stuck with.
Yeah.
And don't like, and again, I think this is like, I'm trying to go deeper in that what is obvious to me that is not obvious to other people, because like I don't think a lot of people have that follow up. It's like you know, I guess like when the saying about like salespeople, like a lot of people give up after the second touch, you know, but it's the sale that happens on the 8th or 9th.
Yeah,
you know, it's like, okay, AI told me this. Okay, I read that. Hey, tell me more. And now. The other thing is by doing that, and this is also good and creepy at the same time, is that AI is learning more about you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the more you interact with that agent or whatever, it's going to answer your next question better because of that conversation, and it knows what you're looking for more.
Yeah.
And I'll, you know, it'll reference a previous conversation in my answer. Like, well, hey, the other day you asked about this topic. So my guess is you're trying to rank higher in SEO for AI searching using this. So that'll be the examples it gives me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's great.
It's terrifying what it remembers. I literally the other day I asked it for like some mock data. And it pulled in my daughter's name into the mock data. And I'm like, I asked you to write a song about her like 6 months ago. Like, what? Like, are you trying to make me feel like warm and fuzzy? Because I feel like I just want to like punch you in the face. Like, don't talk about my little girl.
It's
like,
not warm and fuzzy AI. AI and warm and fuzzy are
they
not
do not go together.
Hand in hand. I there was something on LinkedIn. Somebody had something the other day, and it was like, put this prompt in and see what it says. And it was like, based on what you know about me, make an animal or something like that, or like. And it said I was like a cyberpunk fox, and it like had like 2 pictures, you know, like which one of these responses do you prefer? And it was like, well, you're a fox based on your love of dad jokes and something else. And like, and I was like, and then I remembered like it said something. I can't remember exactly what it said, but I was like, oh yeah, I remember I asked it to put that in this graphic when everybody was doing the Studio Ghibli things, you know, like,
wow.
And I was like, oh, you remember that, huh? I guess you would. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's scary. It's definitely scary.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I like the idea of interrogating like chat or something like that, right? Just keep on asking, get asked for more detail, because it will learn more about you in that process, but you'll get a lot more out of it than just simply asking that question, getting a response back. Okay, copy paste. That's what I'm going to use.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it's also, I mean, that's like a principle of like doing a good sales discovery.
Yeah.
You know, ask one more question. I think I remember that beat it in my head in like SaaS sales training. Like one more question, one more question. But also like, you know, I think a lot of people like it's like when if I'm ghostwriting for an executive, like I'm going to learn how they talk and words they would never say, you know. And like the first time I write like batch content for someone, I send it over. I'm like, hey, read these 12 posts or whatever. What do you think? And they're like, well, I would never say this word. I would never say this word. I would probably say this instead. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, it's just like AI, like, okay, that's great, but could you rewrite it in a 5th grade reading level? Or could you rewrite that with a more conversational tone? Mm-hmm. Or could you rewrite that like not like so condescending?
Yeah. No, absolutely. Well, Scott, thank you so much. We're kind of here at the end of the hour, but thank you so much for joining us on the Boombox Boardroom today. It's been a lot of fun. I think we could do 3 more episodes with you with the amount of stuff we could talk about.
This was fun. Scott. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, very good. Awesome stories, man. All right. See you, everybody.
Later.